We've done it. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, we're here. Game 2 of this best of 3 is going. Yes, indeed. Nobody dropped. Things are going to go pretty crazy. So spawning in the top left position, we have the orange Protoss player from Team MVP. It's TAiLS. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the pink Zerg, currently teamless, it's JonnyREcco.
Now, what would you label TAiLS' build as? Would you say this is, his overall builds we've seen? Would you say they're standard builds, or would you call them somewhat peculiar?
They're slightly unusual, I must say.
Why would you do that?
They're not crazy. Let's face that.
Yeah, they're not. I was just trying to.
They work well. I've seen them in tournaments before and things like that. Not completely off the wall, but they're not the standard. The standard is ultimately getting down a quick natural, or going for a lot of pressure off of one base, or things like Immortal Sentry, Stargate openings. Not these 2 Immortals and a whole bunch of Zealots, although that has been going on in the GSTL, I believe. It's been used quite recently, and so there are different builds that could be going on, but JonnyREcco hatching first on Akelon Waste. It's quite a big map. TAiLS, though, yet again, going for the 1 gate 2 gas opening that we've seen many a time against Zerg players by him.
Now, we got some downtime, until the builds start to play out. So I'm going to ask you a question here. You said you watch GSTL. Who is your favorite team? I
don't watch much GSTL. I only catch it depending on my work schedule. When I'm not actually working or casting or something, I try to tune in. But I think my favorite team has to be Axiom Acer.
You know what? That was going to be my favorite team too. I think overall, that's a big fan favorite. Everyone likes Axiom. Acer is pretty solid overall as a team.
The one thing that really impressed me with Axiom was actually Jenna yesterday at the WCS NA, where she said about, obviously the Muslim got through because Maya did. There was something going on with her. I can't remember exactly what the issue was, but she spoke to the admins and just said that it was the wrong call. And I think that shows real good integrity, and that's something which can never be overvalued. And if a team does act with integrity like that, I think they deserve a lot of credit, and also are going to be very successful in the long term. A short-term win is never going to be outpaced by the long-term success of having good ethos and basically doing the right thing. So, as we can see, at the moment in this game though, TAiLS, he's doing the right thing by getting down a Mothership core and also his natural Nexus. JonnyREcco on 2 bases, and just going fairly standard. Neither player doing anything too crazy. Rico is mining off of 1 gas, so isn't going to be getting a super quick third, but that's because he knows that his opponent has only just thrown down his Nexus.
I think it's going to be the same build as we saw Game 3 versus TAiLS. We saw that that initial weird push he did at the 3rd base. He did the feign pressure with the Zealot Sentry, warped back home, and then followed up with the Colossus timing with a few Morals mixed in. And this is the exact same opener so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it again. It worked in game number 3 versus TAiLS, so why not do it again? We'll just have to see if what his game plan is. We actually see an early forge for the first time out of every game we've cast of TAiLS, which makes me happy.
Yeah. It's a bit of a variation, which is, of course, good. It means it's much more exciting. If you see the same things 10 times over, it does become quite predictable. But, to be fair, I wouldn't be worried in JonnyREcco's position yet. He's getting out a couple of Zerglings just to get some good map vision. His Overlord spread is great. TAiLS, though, he's going to have those 3 gateways up fairly soon, and the Forge. That's enough to get out a fair number of units to defend with, but he's also got to keep a great eye out for ultimately what Rico's looking for, to make sure that Rico isn't doing anything too peculiar.
You did that one on purpose.
I did.
There's no way. There's no way. Ultimately peculiar in 1 sentence. You're trying too hard, man. It made me laugh, though. I love you. I love Hallucination, by the way. Let's talk about this. Going into HOTS is when they made Hallucination not require research, and I personally feel that it is changed the matchup. Or guys change Protoss the way they play in all 3 matchups. You don't actually have to open Robo anymore. You can get scouts without going Robo, and I think it's changed playstyles so much. It's opened up a lot more for Protoss players. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this was overall one of the better changes we saw going into HOTS?
I think it was a great change. It means you can get scouting off without being forced to get an observer, which is always great. It makes more builds viable. This one Hallucinate Phoenix, though, is watching this drone intently, sees the hatchery go down. That was a cool little thing to see there. The Mothership Core doing some nice damage here, and as we can see, the Zergling's just going to run up, all get scouted, not going to be able to get in, sees that there's no third base down to the left. The rocks are getting taken out. TAiLS has got a lot of sentries there. In terms of other tech, though, TAiLS has not really given away too much in what he's planning to doing. 3 gates, 1 forge, and 1 cybernetics core.
Income tab shows 48 drones to 42 probes. Probes are still being built right now. We're actually seeing more of a normal build here from TAiLS. He's not doing too much abnormal, despite him doing the similar Sentry Zealot push. And here he goes. He's moving forward. He does have that Mothership Core. There are no Spine Crawlers here. There are plenty of Lings, though. If they get this around, I think this won't work. Force fields haven't gone down just yet. Good control so far from TAiLS. He's going to try and back into his corner. If he can force a cancel on this third base, and here we go. Ling's going for a surround. Force fields do go down. Nothing was trapped with it. No sentries have died so far. I don't think a single Protoss unit has died with this push just yet.
And this is really good for TAiLS, actually, because Rico is being forced to make an awful lot of Zerglings. This third base is in a little bit of problems. The Mothership Core has full energy, so can mass recall if things don't go his way. In come the Queens. The Zerglings are still not able to get a good attack angle on those sentries, and that just means that this push will continue for longer. The mass recall is always there as an option should the surround go down, but ultimately TAiLS wants to get down that that hatchery. He wants to take out the third. A transfuse does go on the Queen. As we can see, the Mothership Core doing some nice damage. The sentries are getting whittled away slowly, and this is exactly what JonnyREcco needed to do. He's got to keep this third hatch up, otherwise he's going to be in a serious amount of problems.
I think he might actually lose it still, though. I mean, it was a nice job cleaning up most of the sentries. If TAiLS target fires down the hatchery, he can kill it, but he doesn't seem the way you want him to do that. He's still trying to combat it against these Lings, and it's so low in HP. I would just love to see him just get the kill on it. Get the kill on it. Don't fight Lings. No, he's going to get it. He's definitely getting it. If we look at the units lost tab, it's greatly in favor of TAiLS right now.
Now, losing this third is such a big issue for Rico. It means that his economy is going to be much worse. He's on equal basis as his opponents. His production is going to be significantly decreased, and therefore he's got to go for some counter-aggression. He's running in with these Zerglings, but with the mass recall, there's still a lot of Zealots and Stalkers back there. There's the Mothership Core as well. The Zerglings aren't able to make it in past the natural. Rico double expanding because that ultimately is his only option, and he's got to do it. He's got to make sure that he gets all these economic lead, especially when TAiLS is signaling that he may be trying to take his third base, just starting up the robotics facility. He's got his Twilight Council there, got Blink nearly done, and +2 ground weapons on its way.
And we are seeing that third base coming up from TAiLS. There's a pile down beside it. Blink just about to finish, as well as +2 attack. Might see some light Blink aggression moving across the map. +2 started for our Zerg player, JonnyREcco. And he is so low in supply. I'm just now noticing that. 69 versus 100. Income tab, 48 to 54. He really has nothing on the field right now. He's just now building 18 more Lings. He's got his Infestation Pit on the way, so he can get that quick hive. That seems to be his style, but I don't know. I'm liking TAiLS' position a lot better right now, personally.
He's in a good spot. He's got a supply advantage, which is never something you want to see as a Zerg. If you're behind in supply against Protoss or Terran, it's generally not good for you. But a couple of Stalkers getting caught out of position here, but luckily those Zerglings didn't notice immediately, so therefore cannot get surrounded. But now they do. Blink Stalkers will be able to blink back, but look at this push coming in towards the third and natural base. So many Stalkers here. You know how many roaches there are at the moment, Zoya? None. There's no roach roaring down.
Yeah, it's just going to be Lings, and Lings are a pretty solid answer to holding off Blink Stalkers. I mean, if there's not very many Zealots mixed in, but I don't know. Reinforcements are being picked off right now. This third base is definitely going to fall. There is a fourth base up for JonnyREcco, but there are no drones mining at it. Nice blink up onto the high ground and using that Mothership Core. Going to start picking off more drones. And with them funneled into this corner here, the Lings aren't going to get the surround they need. Nice use of the Time Warp there to slow away any units trying to engage on top of these Stalkers. Harvester's kill tap is up to 7 drones so far, but JonnyREcco, look how supply blocked he is, and he has no Overlords on the way. So any other Overlords that fall just add insult to injury. I think JonnyREcco is forced into a counterattack, and if he can't do enough damage with these Lings, I think it'll be GG.
I think it will as well. The reinforcements have been picked off very diligently by all of these speedlings across the map, but the Stalkers just moving forward. The Mothership Core gives vision of the high ground, the Queen desperate to snipe it off, and actually REcco, if he manages to get that, would be quite good, but with the Stalkers, just so many Stalkers there, and with only 2 hatcheries remaining, REcco nearly at half his opponent's supply. He is in a terrible spot right now, desperate to hold on though. The Mothership Core does go down, no more mass recall. These Stalkers can't easily blink away to safety, do blink off to the other side and should be able to get back, but Zerglings on the other side as well just mean that they get surrounded, they will get cleaned up, but how can REcco possibly come back from this sort of situation?
2-2 is so close to finishing for JonnyREcco, but I mean the supply says it all. 52 to 117, 36 drones, 16 lings. Now, that's really not too bad, but the fact that he only 8 drones were killed in that attack, but he lost 2 hatcheries. That's a lot of production. He still has the macro hatch in the main base, but I don't know. Look at this reinforcing push. I think this is going to be, you know, the death kill right here.
There's no way JonnyREcco can get out enough stuff here. There's so many units coming across. They're only gateway units, but all REcco has are just a lot of Zerglings. And Zerglings against this many gateway units just aren't going to work, because let's look at the facts. We can just see that these units are going to move straight in, take out this 4th hatchery, knocking JonnyREcco down to just 1 base. A 1 base Zerg. Ultimately, it has to be GG.